Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and welcome to the ultimate Airtable tutorial. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about Airtable, from absolute beginner to expert. So why should you care about Airtable? Think about all the different tools you currently use: spreadsheets, project management apps, CRMs, and forms. Airtable combines all of these into one incredibly flexible platform. What makes Airtable special is that it gives you the simplicity of a spreadsheet with the power of a database. You can start with something basic that looks familiar, then add sophisticated features as needed. Unlike traditional databases that require coding knowledge or spreadsheets that quickly hit their limits, Airtable grows with your needs without requiring you to become a professional developer. Whether you're managing a small business, organizing a personal project, or building enterprise solutions, Airtable's ability to adapt to virtually any workflow makes it one of the most valuable tools you can add to your skill set in today's digital landscape. Now, we've structured this tutorial to take you on a comprehensive journey through Airtable. We'll start with the basics: how to set up your account, create your first project, and organize your information in a way that makes sense. You'll learn how to structure your data properly from the beginning, which is crucial for success. Next, we'll explore how to customize your database with different types of fields, from simple text and numbers to checkboxes, ratings, and file attachments. You'll discover how to create user-friendly forms for data collection and different ways to view your information, as spreadsheets, calendars, galleries, and more. Then, we'll unlock Airtable's most powerful features, creating automatic calculations that update in real time, connecting to external services to pull in data automatically, and building beautiful dashboards that can make your information visual and interactive. And finally, we'll show you how to save hours of manual work by setting up automations, like automatically sending notifications when data changes or updating information across multiple tables with a single click. This tutorial is designed for everyone. If you're brand new to Airtable, you can follow along from the beginning. If you're more experienced, use the chapters below to jump to specific topics that you want to explore. At our agency, Tech, we use Airtable as the backbone for dozens of client projects, from content calendars and CRM systems to inventory management and project tracking. The techniques you'll learn today are the same ones we implement for businesses across multiple industries. So, in just a moment, my co-founder and partner Luca will be taking you through each of these areas, showing you exactly how to build powerful solutions step by step. He's a technical genius behind our agency's Airtable implementations, and you're going to love his clear explanations of how everything works. So grab a notebook or open your favorite note-taking app, and let's dive into the world of Airtable.
So we're going to be building a CRM sheet. We're going to be going through loads of different examples of how you can, utilize your data, but also utilize the great features that they have within Airtable, such as automations, interfaces, and different, ways to automate your data and make sure everything is good and efficient within your database. Okay, so this is Airtable. As you can see here, I've created a workspace that is called Tutorial. And basically in Airtable, you've got workspaces. Within workspaces is a base, and then within bases are tables. If you've used Google Sheets before and you saw that you have different sheets within a table, that's basically like the different tables within a base here. Great, so we're going to go ahead and create our first base, and we're going to go start from scratch. Up here on the top left, we can call it CRM, and then we can rename this table to be contacts, and this one, start from scratch, to be companies. Great, so now we've created two tables within our base. Great, so now we're going to create the different columns that we need in our contacts table. I personally like to just delete all of these first of all, just so we can start fresh. There's different formats and stuff for columns, so I just like to start with a clear head. Okay, so for this one, this is like our kind of flagship column, or our primary column, we say, that's always on the left-hand side. We're going to call this one contact ID, and we're going to make this an auto number. There we go. Save that. And then we're going to do name, so it'll be single line of text, name. We're going to do long text for notes, and then we're going to do photo, attachment, and photo. Great. And then we're going to create company name, will be single line of text, company name. We'll do email and phone number. And then we'll go date, and this is going to be date added. And we'll do this as ISO. So this is the format of the time that we're going to have. And we'll do include time, sure. Actually, well, if you want to include the time or the time zone, obviously you can toggle on these. But for now, we just want the date in ISO format. And then we're going to have deal, oops daisy, I'll select the format first. So it'll be single line deal value, lead score, and last contact. Again, needs to be a date. So date here, and we'll do ISO again, and this is last contact. Okay, we're just going to change the format of deal value. So this should be currency. We'll go 2 decimal places, which basically means like $1.00, could be $1.10. That is fine. And then lead score, we want to edit this to be a number, and it's going to, great, save that as number. Great, so now we've created all of these columns within our contacts table. Last contact will be a really important column for different automations later on in the video. Okay, so now we're going to add some more columns to our contacts table. The first one is going to be a single select. So single select, and it's going to be called lifecycle stage. And then we add the options here. So we've got lead, marketing, qualified lead, sales, qualified lead. And we've got opportunity, customer, and churned. They will automatically assign colors to the different single selects. This has actually worked quite well because it's gone down. Churned obviously isn't a good thing, so that's in red. But if you need to adjust the colors, you just click on this and you can adjust it through there. Great. Next column we're going to do is a checkbox, and it's going to be called follow up required. Perfect. And then we're going to have another one, which is another single select. So we'll do communication channels, and the values are going to be email, phone, we'll say in person, video call, and social media. Great, so now we've got, I suppose, approximately about 12 different columns for information on our leads. The contact ID, name, notes on that lead, photo could be of them or of the company logo, company name, email, phone, the date the lead is added, the deal value, so the potential deal value of this lead, and the lead score. You know, if they're very hot and close to closing, it might be 99. If they're, just had an initial bit of interest, it could be 20. Last contact, so when was the last time we contacted them? Life stage cycle, so which stage they're out of the cycle. Follow-up required, we tick that if there should be a follow-up required. We're going to use that in automation later, so it'll make a bit more sense. And which communication channel did they come through? Okay, great. So now we've got all these columns set up. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually edit the company name to be linked to another record within the base, but in a different table. So in companies, as you can see here, if let's first of all start by deleting these. And then the first thing we're going to do is change this to company name. If we save that, then go back to contacts, what we're going to do now in one of the columns is link it to another table. So we've already got in here in our companies one, we've got obviously company name, which we just did. And then here, we're going to click on this, go edit field, and we're going to say link to another record. It's going to be companies. We're going to press save, and then we'll press here company name, add one field. Great, and then we have both of these columns now as they should show up. Okay, great. So now we go over to companies, and we're going to add in. So first of all, here is going to be a roll up, and we're going to have, it's going to be called contact count, and it will be the contact ID. And here, it's going to be, rather than array unique, it's going to be count all. Create that field, great. And then another roll up value. What we're doing basically is, this is basically a formula for adding up all of the columns. So here we're going to do total deal value. This one is going to be from contacts, and we're going to select deal value here. And then, yeah, this one is going to be the sum of the values. Great, so if we add that, Okay, great. So now we're going to add some just basically sample data to the contacts table, and we'll see how we can start getting some formulas to start working. Okay, fantastic. So we've just added some sample data in there that we can work with. Now we're going to add two columns, or we're going to use formulas. So formulas are great for summarizing data, and they also update automatically, so they're quite cool. The first one we're going to add is date since last contact. So if we name this date contact, and the formula is going to be this. We'll create that field. So this is basically the amount of time since the last contact in days. So as you can see here, the last contact of this guy was the 13th of April. We're now in the 4th of May. So it's been 21 days, 11 days since this guy. And then the next formula column that we're going to add is going to be called needs follow-up. So this basically checks if the date since contact is more or less than 14 days. If it's 14 days or more, then it needs a follow-up. So I'm going to paste that formula in again. Obviously, you guys will get this template. So if you'd like to copy the formula, then please feel free to pause the screen and do it now. But if not, it'll be there for you quite conveniently. I suppose the main purpose of this is to show you what you can do and how you can summarize data with the formulas. So as you can see here, obviously 21 days is more than 14 days. So we've got yes here. Okay, we're actually going to add one more formula column just because I thought about it and it might be cool to show you again what we can do. This one is going to be called lead quality. And this is just to tell us how good our lead quality is, basically framing it in a different word to lead score. Again, you guys can simplify or take only 5 columns from what we're showing you here. We're just trying to show you all the possibilities. And I hope you're following along, building this, taking notes so that you're also learning. So the first thing we're going to do is go on here to a new column, press formula, and this one is going to be lead quality. I'm going to paste the formula that we have here. This basically tells us if it's a hot lead, a warm lead, or a cold lead. I'm going to create that field. And there we go. Great, so now you can see it just gives us a bit of more of a visual representation. If you've got 50 records in here, it's quite nice to look at these emojis. Basically, it makes it a bit more clear. Okay, great. So now we've added some sample leads to our table. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a form so that it's easy for anyone in your team or anyone in general, I suppose, if you want, to be able to add to the form. You don't have to go in here and fill in all of these things. So the first thing we're going to do is go down to form, which is down here in the bottom left corner, press the plus sign and go continue. Right, so here's the form and this is where we'll be building the form. The first thing we want to do is say add to CRM, we'll say add lead. And the description is input this form to add a lead to a CRM sheet. Okay, so let's now just organize this. So let's put the email here, the phone here, notes, we don't need photo. Well, we can keep photo there. Date added, deal value, lead score, last contact. We can delete last contact. So just press on it. And then I just click the backspace on my keyboard. And now we want to add some more groups. So we want to say sales cycle, communication channel. We'll just leave it at that for the purpose of this. There we go. Delete that and delete that. Just so it's nice and clear. Great. There we go. Okay, so if we preview this form quickly and we say Luca Allen, email is luca@tortech.ai. His phone number is something random. Notes can be met at networking events. Date added can be today. Deal value could be 800, lead score 40. He's just a lead for the moment, and it was an in-person. And if we submit that, great. Then if we go back and go to our data, okay, it's because that was just the preview. Obviously, you didn't add the lead in. So now if we go to our forms, we go to here, and if we go to publish form, and let's say we want anyone on web, but we need a password. So we can share this link with anyone, but if it's just something within the team, then they need a password to input. So let's set that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the moment. Save. If we copy this link, go into a new tab here, paste it in. As you can see, it's asking for our password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, enter. And it has the data that we put in prior in the preview. So if we want to just submit that data, great, thank you for submitting a form. If we go back here and back to data, you can see we've got Luca Allen, Toratech, data data is basically all the details that we did. The last contact can be just set to today. Obviously you can pop that column into your form as well, have a play around with it. And there's no time since the contact doesn't need follow-up. It's a cold lead because I set this at 40. So basically because it's before 50, as you can see in our formula here, then it's still a cold lead. Okay, great. So now I'm going to show you what we can do and how we can create basically different interfaces for the data that we have, depending on what you have. So if you have, contacts with their faces, if you're qualifying leads, you can basically create a different interface to view your data. So the first one we're going to do is going to go in gallery, create new view. Okay, great. So what we're going to do here, as you can see, the images are blank. If I go back to grid view, and I literally, if I'm going to, let's just add a random image, which is this one. Upload, do the same here. Let's see if we can copy this. Great, we can copy that in. And then if I go back to my gallery, we have that image. So it's John O'Brien, Tom Daly, Stacey Lynch, Luca Allen. And then what we can do is we can customize the cards to include different things. So let's say we don't want notes, but we want email, phone number, and deal value. And then do we need a follow-up here? Yes, no, yes. Great, so that's basically literally just a very, very quick and easy way to create a nice visual interface for your data. Then if we want to create a gallery, oh sorry, not a gallery, if we want to create then a calendar, create new view. Okay, so we want to do this by last contact. We want to see last contact. If we press done, and then if we go to customize labels and we say we want to know, or we want to know their name, I suppose, rather than a contact ID. And we want to know if it needs a follow-up. Great. And then what we can do is go back here. So, okay, we go back, Stacey does need a follow-up. Luke Allen, John O'Brien doesn't. This would be great for, I suppose, what we're showing here, but also just keeping track of all your leads, knowing the dates that you last talked to them in just a different way of viewing it, which is now a calendar. Okay, so now we're going to see how our two tables can link together. So obviously we got companies and contacts here. This is just a way to keep it a bit more, organized. So if I go to companies and I say Apple, and the contacts from here we've got are just loading. Okay, so John O'Brien is with Apple. Let's say Stacey Lynch was with Microsoft, and we've got Toratech, can't even spell my own company right, Toratech AI, and that one was Luca Allen. If it loads, Luca Allen. Okay, great. So now you can see these roll up ones, contact count, so that's contact per company. As you can see here, if I add another one, that is Chris Macreese, and if I, let's say I put his deal value at 600, then I add Chris to this and the deal value goes up. So this is really interesting for knowing how much value there is per company per deal, just in a more organized format. And then obviously it translates to here as well. We haven't done anything for Tom Daly, but these are links to the records in companies, as well as the companies or the contact records being linked to these roll-up columns here. Okay, so we're now going to add a column to the right of life cycle stage. So if we insert right here, and it's going to be another date, in include time if we want, but we want it to be in ISO format. That's going to be date deal closed. Great. Okay, and then we're just going to add some dates to this for the sake of testing it. Let's just delete this column for the moment. And let's say date deal closed was Friday for this one and the 1st for this one. Okay, so now if we're creating, let's say like a chart interface, then we want to go onto interfaces. We'll go start building, build me an interface, and it'll be sales interface. Next. And here we're just going to go down to the bottom to blank. They do have some other ones that you can do, such as Kanban, gallery, which we just obviously did, dashboard, but we're just going to go with blank for this one. Okay, great. So now we can completely customize our interface. If we press number, now we want to know how many companies we're currently in contact with. So I did companies here for source, and I did record count. There is also field summary if you want, but record count. Then up here, I'm going to edit this to number of companies, yes. Great, as you can see here, we're talking to 3 companies. And then we can add another one. We can pop that even here. And this one is going to be for contacts, record count, and we can do number of contacts. Great, and that's 4. Great, and then if we want to take this a step further to filter this, we can go specific records, and it can be add condition where, let's say, needs follow-up is yes. And then you can see it goes down to 1, because in our data, there's only 1 contact at the moment that needs a follow-up. And then if we want to check, let's say, our average deal value, we can go to number, we can say this is contacts, specific records, and then fields summary. And then if we go to, let's say, where is it, deal value, a sum or average. So that's a really good way to, I suppose, summarize all our data. Obviously, this is a bit more useful if you've got 50 records of data or more, 2000. But yeah, I suppose this is showing you how you can create a really good interface. Because if you are selling these solutions, this is all the things that'll make it just that one step better. Okay, and then if we want to take it another step further and make our data even more visual, we can go back down here where it says number and go to chart. And let's say we want to have a chart, we want to have a pie chart on our, let's say, all records, specific records, and it is field summary, deal value, sum. Great, so obviously you can do whatever you want here, you can do sum, and then that's, I suppose, a percentage of our life cycle stage. If we wanted to do, let's say, a bar chart, these are the different deal values here. Obviously appearance, you can make it all different colors. Add a title to, let's say, deal value. Great, and now you've got a bit of an interface for the data that you've been collecting. If you want to publish this, you can obviously just go publish up here, press there. And if you want to share it with your team, let's say at the end of a Friday, you need to get your full report to the team, and this is a really good way to I suppose, format it. It can be invite collaborators, invite by guests, share publicly. Okay, next we're going to build an automation within Airtable. As you can see up here, it says automations. So we're going to add a trigger, and the trigger is going to be when record matches condition. And so this could be, we're going to select the table, it's going to be contacts, and it's going to be when, let's say, follow-up required is ticked. Then it'll go to this part, and we're going to say send an email. So this is going to send an email to luca@toratech.ai. Subject is going to be need to follow up with, and then let's add a variable in here. So it's going to be name from company name. And then it's going to be, we can say, hello, please follow up with his email is email. The deal value is And let's say we want to do, so this is just a template. So this is an automation that will run for any records that are updated. And obviously these are dynamic variables that we're putting in. So we'll go through two scenarios that you can see it does actually change depending on the situation. So we'll say kind regards, Luca. And then we also want to then update, we want to create a new column which shows our progress with the follow-ups. So if we go back to the data, I'll do this later. And we want to say follow, oops daisy, it'll be single select. I want to say follow up progress, and it'll be in progress, and then it can be awaiting response, let's say on hold, and completed. And then let's do create that field. Let's go back to our automation then. And when the email is sent, then we'll go to update record, and it will be select from contacts. Record ID will be contact ID, and then fields, follow-up progress, and this will be in progress. Great, so if we put this live, go back to our data, and let's say we want to do a follow-up for this guy here. We'll save that. And as you can see here, this is an automated email that got sent. Hello, please follow up with Luke Allen. His email is luke@toratech.ai. The deal value is 800. So that was completely done automatically. If we do another one, let's take this guy. And again, straight away, hello, please follow up with John O'Brien from Apple. Please follow up with John O'Brien. His email is test.gmail. Deal value is 150. Kind regards, Luca. So as you can see here, obviously the emails were sent, but follow-up progress is still blank, which obviously shouldn't be the case. So let's go back to automations. And I think it's because this should be Airtable record ID. So that's actually not something that's listed on our table, but Airtable always have that in the background. So if we update that, and let's test it out now. So we'll untick this and tick it again. And then we should see in progress. There we go. So that's the automation working, and we also will have received an email. Great. And there you go. And that's the email that got sent. So yeah, obviously Airtable Records ID is always a reliable one to go with. It didn't work with Contact ID that time. So there you go. Great. So that's a beginner to expert guide on Airtable. Hope you followed along. Back to Chris.
And there you have it. You've now completed our comprehensive Airtable tutorial. From setting up your first base to implementing advanced automations and integrations, you've learned how to harness the full power of this incredible platform. What you've seen today is just the beginning of what's possible with Airtable. Remember that the true strength of Airtable lies in its flexibility. The same principles and techniques you've learned today can be applied to virtually any project or workflow you encounter. Whether it's managing inventory, planning content, tracking clients, or building custom business solutions. If you found value in this tutorial, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content on automation. Your support helps us create more tutorials like this one. And if you have questions about anything we've covered, please drop them in the comments below. We actively respond to questions and use your feedback to create future content. Don't forget to check the resources in the description, including links to sample templates and additional learning materials to help you continue mastering Airtable. Thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing what you guys create.